This is the W2 Report with Sanji Homura. Here's Sanji.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the W2 Report. I am your host, Sanji Homura. Today, we go into generative AI and waddle into that debate. But before we do, let us go over the ground rules with Lord Crocker Squirrel.
Rule number 1, beat up the dick. Rule number 2, if you have questions, please refer to rule number 1.
All right, bringing up the rear, we have Mr. Lindgren.
Hello.
Look, it's our favorite. It's everybody's favorite troll. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. You're supposed to be a goblin.
Wait, favorite? Damn it, I'm doing it wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I misspeaking you. You're not a troll. You're a goblin. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was worth it for the joke.
Yes.
Completely worth it.
Today we are going into the discussion on generative AI and why Steam players want to filter out games that use it. So without further ado, let's refer to Insider Gaming.
They wrote the initial report.
Yes. This is editing Sanji here. There were some technical difficulties with the internet quality of all things, and so we shoehorned in this little bridge to this second attempt to read the article. We now resumed your regularly scheduled video. Okay, we have this wonderful article from Insider Gaming that explains why Steam players want to filter out games that use generative AI. The debate around use of generative AI in video games is one of the more hotly debated topics in the last handful of years. While some find value in what could mean to the development of timeline of larger games, others are worried that it'll lead to lower quality games being released and talented artists and developers losing their jobs.
Can I poke my nose in here?
What?
Can I poke my nose in here real quick?
Yes.
If you're worried about lower quality games and people losing their jobs, if they were doing the jobs and if they were doing their jobs well in the first place, we wouldn't already have crap games. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah, Digital Homicide, Zonatron.
Oh no, I'm talking about. I'm talking about. Let's see, Concord.
Ubisoft.
Oh yeah.
Concord, the most recent Ascreed games. I mean, you name a game that has been put out by a AAA publisher in the last 3 or 4 years, you're going to almost all of them are garbage.
Yeah.
Almost. Not all of them. There's been a couple that have been okay. And I think 1 or 2 that might have actually been good. But for the most part, lower quality games, how do you get lower than Ubisoft? Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or egregious assholes. Or, who else? Microshaft.
Every Battlefield release at launch.
Hell, every Call of Duty game at launch.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, of course. But I'm allowed to have Go ahead.
In a post on the Steam forum suggestions thread, a suggestion to allow players to filter out games made with generative AI has picked up steam, no pun intended, since it was first posted earlier this month. Said the original poster, I for Scotland. I don't have any interest in playing demos from games that use generative AI in their development. it would be good if an option was added to filter these games in the same way players already filter adult NSFW content.
Buddy, I use that one to filter out wrestling games. So, but no. See what you do, and this would make things a lot easier because you're not going to have to try and dive through the Steam backend to do this. You know how they popped up a little thing that says, "Hey, they're using de novo on this," and it requires or a third party thing, a third party EULA or
DRM. Yeah.
No, actually, it's only de novo for DRM. But yeah, you know what you do? You make the developers do the work. You put it. You've already got the little backdrop thing. Just have them make sure that they tell you, yes, this game uses generative AI. They type it in, it's done.
Yep. And honestly, I would take it a step further and say how they use generative AI in their game.
One of the angles that really curses the problem, though, is that one of the unambiguous benefits to generative AI is generating animations with assets that the indie dev created,
or whatever dev. Because
yeah.
I know there's at least a few studios up towards the AAA end of the scale that have already used it, unreported, of course.
Yeah.
And I'll let them rat themselves out because they will eventually. But do you want? But do we want to see generative AI go writing its own code? Not something I think I would really appreciate. But
no.
That being said, if you got it doing some of the really stupid work, cut paste, that sort of thing, where where a particular piece of code needs to be in like 8 different places all at the same time. That would be acceptable for the computer's time, because the computer can just do that. It's good at some things. It's not necessarily good at other things, but when you start getting into the creative process, that's where you're going to have some issues.
Right.
Yeah. AI does its best work in alleviating tedium.
Yes.
But that also means that it could be a possible solution for a pain in the ass problem that everybody seems to go nuts over, and that's crunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't have to do the bulk of the if you don't have to do the heaviest parts of the animation, and repeated code and other such things, then why would those are tasks that are better done by a computer, to be honest. Just because it has an AI doesn't mean it has AI sections in the software, doesn't mean that it is actually an AI. It's not artificially intelligent. What you're talking about is an
automated numbers cruncher.
Kind of like for example, putting let's just take one at random. I don't know. Physics. Yeah, you want to make your game adaptable for physics. There's only so many ways you can code that.
Right.
There's only so many ways you can code with that particular API. And there's lots of other things. You say, okay, you know what this is? And the AI goes, me? Okay, we're going to do this with this stuff. Oh, that. Give it a couple days, it's done. With the same
One
thing,
user respond, yeah.
well, the same thing would cost a human programmer weeks, potentially. So less time in that space means that you have more time to do the other things that need doing.
Yeah, on the creative side, there's only one AI that I would trust to generate a game worth playing, and that AI is Tay Tweets.
Huh.
We had some wonderful responses in the article, too. One user responded, I don't want to play a game that nobody wanted to make. I want to play things.
That's a valid criticism.
Yeah.
I think that would be valid. But again, nobody wants to play. Just because nobody wanted to make it doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist.
Right.
Like all art forms, there's good, there's bad, and there's like really, really, really ugly. You know, digital homicide on that last one.
Yeah.
But yes, they can. There's lots of things they can do. But having the AI generate an entire game, that's not going to happen. Not until it has at least human level intelligence.
Yes. The user continues. I want to play games. I want to play things people made and who love what they created. Another user made this specific note. All of the AIs out there are trained on stolen labor. I'd rather not financial support anyone who's happy to use them to produce games, and every demo download translates into financial support via Steam's old algorithms.
Uh-huh.
Granted, Steam already is against that type of AI image generation. Or AI asset generation.
Yes, the AIs are known to are actual artwork being taken. Yes, that is a thing.
Yes.
But you're not going to get things like walk cycles. Those are generally speaking in the midst of the code that already exists. If that makes any damn sense.
Yes.
You train an AI by giving it a book as far as like coding goes, or generating 1,000 walk cycles for, you know, how many critters do you want in the scene. It would make the thing like the big ass zombie hordes in Days Gone. You could do that, and probably could do that in a couple of hours. But it probably took some poor coder, you know, anywhere from a few days to a couple of months. Because you have to be able to control them individually, even if you just instanced all those zombies, which I think is what they did. You're still having you still have to track everybody's walk cycles, because if you're not tracking everybody's walk cycles, one of two things happens. One, they T-pose or A-pose, whichever, or they all start running along completely in step, And that's not what you do. That's not what is that. That's not a thing for any type of zombie, honestly.
Right.
At least any type that I've ever heard of. Your fast zombies, they're gonna run at the target. They're not gonna like do so in lockstep. Those things could be made very easily, much faster. I'm not sure that would qualify as generative AI either.
Right. But we turn it over to you, the audience. What do you think about being able to filter out games that use generative AI? Find out below in the comments. Weigh in on the comments. And before you leave today, remember to do all the YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe. Because it helps us more than it helps you. But with that being said, I am Sanji Himura, and beware, the tax man cometh.